Banks having a big old party. A few outsiders saw what no one else could. The whole world economy might collapse.
Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Money. Money, money, money. The global financial crisis. Hi, welcome to Bomb Squad. Damn, son, where'd you find this global financial crisis? Sorry. Hi, welcome to Bomb Squad Matinee. I'm your host and master of ceremony, Tanner Richard Craft, and with me I have...
Hi, I'm 5'11" in real life, which makes me the biggest short person. Hi, I'm Austin Sweebelman. How's your mother?
I'm a triple B subprime mortgage recipient.
That's true. His teaser rate's about to expire. Please donate to Bennett's mortgage fund now.
I applied for a mortgage off my jelly bean business. I haven't sold one jar.
Please help me, sir. My family is dying. You know that fucking tweet that's just like clothes $500, food $1,000, rent $1,000, you know, candles $35,000. Can someone please help me budget this? My family is dying. Have you tried buying less candles? Absolutely not. And if you can't tell by all the financial talk, the global financial crisis, and the clips going on in the background behind me, today we are talking about my favorite movie of 2015 and one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, this is a movie where I'm constantly looking up clips online just to watch scenes from the movie. And then, like, I watch this movie at least once a year. I love it so much. The Big Short. Adam McKay's serious turn into filmmaking, whether or not that was a good direction for his career, is bound to be seen. But this movie is a great fucking movie. But before we get into that, I have a question for you boys. What is your favorite movie about money? Bennett, we're going to start with you.
My favorite movie about money? Gotta be the movie with money in the name. I'm talking about Moneyball here.
Oh, I'll accept
better
it.
Than finances and baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all you have?
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Word.
To the point.
Hey, to the point. Austin, what about you? What are your some favorite? Hey, Austin, how about you? What are your some? Fuck.
You got this.
What is talking? Austin, money movie, go.
Citizen Kane. Back to you, Tan.
Let's go.
Are you fucking with me, man?
No, I love every question that I can legitimately answer with Citizen Kane. I gotta go for it every time. So I'm kind of scared to say this when they're like a public forum. I'm a big In Time guy. You know that Justin Timberlake movie, In Time?
I actually do really. I love movies with stupid gimmicks like that.
It rocks. It's like baby's first anti-capitalist propaganda. It's my fucking favorite. I watched it on the treadmill once, and I was like, how'd they let them make this movie? This is so subversive. I fucking like In Time. I don't know. I like Olivia Wilde from around that era. I know that YMS has like a 2-hour video about why In Time is for baby brain people, but like, I don't know. I kind of dig it. Final answer, Casino by Martin Scorsese. Back to you, Tanner.
Also
Good
banger.
answer. Good answer. Both are great answers. As you all know, I'm going to pretend and say, I thought long and hard about this question, but I didn't. Of course, what I've done is I pulled up an IMDb list called Movies About Money.
There we go!
Yeah, there's only 45 movies in here, but let's talk about some of these movies on here that feel like misinterpretations of the movie by putting it on the list. For example, The Great Gatsby.
Kinda.
I guess that's kind of about money.
Yeah.
The Social Network. Sure. I guess that's kind of about money.
Oh, it's about money.
I would say it definitely is.
It's about a lawsuit where he has to pay them
Yeah,
money. You know, it's about money.
That's not, but the money isn't really the main focus, though, is my point.
It's about him, like, you know, fucking people over financially on a deal.
I guess. Limitless. The Bradley Cooper movie.
Flowers for Algernon for frat guys. That movie rocks. I'm not even fucking around.
I guess that movie's about money. There Will Be Blood. Wrong. That movie's about oil.
is about
Yeah.
money. He's like
Movies about
him trying to
oil.
make money.
He's
I
like
disagree.
the next level
I disagree,
coke addict,
Gary.
but for greed. Okay.
All right, here's one where I'm gonna be honest. No, this movie's not about money. You're gonna say, oh, but it's in the title. It's not about money. Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, that movie's about family.
Yeah, it's about family and like wealth.
That's a rom-com. That's not really about money. Sure, money is like, there's class differences, I guess. That movie's not about money.
East versus West, you know, custom.
The David O. Russell movie, Joy. I haven't seen that movie. I'm pretty sure it's not about money, though.
I haven't seen that movie. Bennett, have you seen
There's
Joy?
No, I don't even know what it's about.
It's about a woman named Joy.
It's about money, apparently.
No,
I think
idea.
I think she's sad. There's a Pablo Escobar movie on here, which sure.
I mean, yeah, he was one of the richest people in history.
To me though, it's like saying like I don't know, American Gangster.
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel most of these are stretches.
Frank Lucas measured
there's that
his
one
success
scene
through-
where he gets his money in his jar.
That seems
You know,
like-
he does get his money in that jar. Anyway, I look at all these movies. There are some good movies on this list. The Founder, I'd say that's about money the same way The Social Network is, but that movie's about real estate, actually.
Yeah, it's about real estate.
Yeah, no, I would 100% say that the Founder's about money because it's a big part of it's about how he like decided to enfranchise it, and that's a big like financial thing.
Yeah, real estate. Some other movies on here that are great that are actually obviously about money. Wall Street, yes. The Wolf of Wall Street, yes, obviously about money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here's another one where I'm like, what? The Aviator.
Yeah, no.
I guess because Howard Hughes was rich?
That movie's about piss.
Pretty sure that movie's about Howard Hughes becoming like a decrepit, paranoid man.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of these are great movies. Well, some of them are great movies. Others are the movie Focus, a movie that everyone forgot about. It's that Margot Robbie, Will Smith, they're doing Hustlin' movie.
I forgot
I
about
saw that
that
in
movie.
theaters. I saw that in theaters.
Holy
Yeah, that
shit.
movie kind of sucked.
It's not that good, but I saw it in theaters. I was the only person in America to see it in theaters. Anyway, I look at all these movies, you know, you got The Wizard of Lies, the Bernie Madoff movie, other great stuff on here. You know what movie's not on here that's about a very similar subject matter to the movie we're talking about today?
Margin Call.
That's right, actually. The 2011 movie Margin Call.
Boom, baby!
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Fun with Dick and Jane.
You know what? Fun with Dick and Jane, also great movie.
I'm being indicted!
Financial crisis.
So while The Big Short is about the investors side, the people that shorted the housing markets, their perspective on the global financial crisis, Margin Call is the perspective from inside the banks. Basically, Margin Call is a movie about basically this analyst at some unnamed Manhattan bank that are basically the first people to realize shit's about to go tits up within a week, and that they have to start getting shit off their books right now. But for the most part, the movie's just people realizing, oh, things are going bad, but it's actually a very subtly insidious movie. Not that the movie itself is insidious, but there's a subtle insidious thing. The first time I watched this movie, it's just really riveting character work. Great performances all around. Paul Bettany, Jeremy Irons, Zachary Quinto, Penn Badgley, years before fucking You, that Netflix show, Demi Moore, Stanley Tucci, and unfortunately, Kevin Spacey gives one of the best performances of his career in this movie, I think.
Yeah.
Fuck Kevin Spacey. He was a talented actor. But when you watch it the first time, you just kind of appreciate the character stuff going on. The second time you watch it, you notice these subtle things that indicate that the higher ups at the bank knew this was going to happen a year ago, and they're not freaking out because, oh shit, this is happening. They're not freaking out because they're being made aware of it. They're freaking out because if some junior analyst can figure out what's about to happen, then it really is about to happen.
Yeah.
And that other banks are going to realize
the scene,
that the music's over.
The scene where Stanley Tucci talks about building a bridge is one of the best fucking monologues in cinema, in my opinion.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good. The whole movie's great. It's directed by G.C. Shander. It's his directorial debut. He's a really talented director. He directed this movie. He directed the Robert Redford All Is Lost. He also directed A Most Violent Year, which is a pretty decent movie. He directed Triple Frontier, which is an action movie I think people like. And most recently, he directed Kraven the Hunter. So...
Man is the only animal who is threatened.
But basically, there are 3 great movies about the global financial crisis. The Margin Call, which is what I just mentioned. The Big Short, which we're about to talk about. And then there's a 2010 movie called Inside Job, I think. I'm pretty sure it's called Inside Job. Basically, the Big Short is the investors. Margin Call is the bankers. Inside Job, if I'm getting the name right, is the government and how they responded to the financial crisis. Which is basically them hitting themselves in the nuts for 6 months before they finally went, fine, have a multi-billion dollar bailout.
Yeah.
Is it called Inside Job? I'm going to double check this before I get pissed off.
I also think it's like a documentary. I think I watched it once when I was like 19, and I didn't absorb any of it because I was 19. But, you know, like The Big Short and Margin Call are like narrative dramas, you know, and Inside Job is more of a doc.
Okay, what's the government? Okay. Government Big called? Short. Dude, what's the government called?
Hey, Siri.
Okay. Not the point. You know what? I'll figure this out. Maybe I'll tell Tim about this later or whatever. Point is that I think there's a third narrative movie, or Inside Job has like narrative reenactments in it.
Gotcha.
Either way.
99 Homes, another 2008 recession movie, but it takes place on the ground level. It's what is it? Michael Shannon and Andrew Garfield just kicking people out of their foreclosed homes. Michael Shannon is vaping the whole time. It's fucking nuts. I'm scared
before
to watch
vaping
that
was a
movie.
big thing?
Yeah, I am frightened to watch that movie. I'm never gonna watch it, honestly. But I hear it's good.
Okay, I'm sorry. I Googled movies about the global financial crisis, and one of the top results was Killing Them Softly, the Brad Pitt movie.
He's got one monologue about what that grandiose ass monologue near I think the end of the movie about the nature of the world, and then now it's a 2008 housing crash movie. He's a hitman. What happened?
Fun with Dick and Jane wasn't 2008. It was like an earlier financial crisis, wasn't it? That one's about. Wasn't it like 04 or something like that?
I'm sorry. Inside Job is a documentary about the global financial crisis. There is a 2011 movie called Too Big to Fail. That is the narrative film about the government's perspective on the global financial crisis.
Rock and roll.
It has William Hurt, Ed Asner, Billy Crudup, Paul Giamatti, Topher Grace, Bill Poneman, Tony Shalhoub, Cynthia Nixon, and James Wood. I'm talking star-studded cast. William Hurt plays Henry Posnan, who was the Treasury Secretary at the time in the Bush administration when the global financial crisis happens. It's a good movie. Okay, now we're done. Now we're done with that. Let's get into The Big Short. The Big Short, which to me, I think we can all agree is the defining global financial crisis movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If for no other reason than I think not only is it a wildly entertaining movie that has a lot to say and has great emotional things, it also, even though it does treat the audience like idiots, it does pretty succinctly explain the complex terms Wall Street likes to use to explain these things. So, what did we think of The Big Short?
Your monthlies could go up 200-300%.
James says I can always refinance.
Well, he's a liar. Actually, in this particular case, James probably is wrong.
200% on all my loans?
What do you mean all your loans? We're talking about 2 loans on 1 house, right?
I have 5 houses and a condo.
Hey, there's a bubble.
How do you know?
Trust me.
Austin, we'll start with you.
So, this is the most excited I have been to talk about a movie on the show since the Boogie Nights episode. I have a considerable relationship with this movie. It's number 2 on my list of movies I've watched the most in my 31 years on this planet. Number 1 is like the Danny Boyle Steve Jobs movie, but to tell you the truth, it's fairly neck and neck. The Big Short is one of my top comfort movies. I've been watching it the way that like white girls watch The Office. This movie comes from Adam McKay, the guy who once had to be talked down from doing a remake of Death Wish, where the Charles Bronson character targets billionaires. A guy who has been on 2 episodes of Chapo Trap House, and speaking of podcasts, he originally heard about the book this movie is based on from NPR's podcast, This American Life. It was in development over at Plan B, Brad Pitt's company, and eventually they like shacked up. This movie has exactly one thing in common with Steve McQueen's 12 Years a Slave, and that is that it's a Brad Pitt produced movie where he personally shows up in the film and tells the audience what the moral is. I think this is far and away the best work Adam McKay has done in his life. And that fucking guy already left a huge mark on the world with his comedies. Back before the internet was a big thing, I was like shitting around on the grade school playground. You know what we did? We quoted Anchorman at each other. We quoted fucking random scenes from Talladega Nights and Step Brothers. That was like the humorous currency of pre-social media friendship. And fucking somehow, probably because he had like 22 years of fucking improv experience and hanging around the most hilarious people in show business, The Big Short is just as funny as all of his previous shit. The Big Short is possibly the funniest tragedy in American cinema. It's like up there with like Network and Dr. Strangelove and Fargo. And like not only did he nail the comedy, Adam McKay did an almost unprecedented public service by taking millions of moviegoers and explaining to them how and why everybody's lives fucking exploded in 2008. Who was responsible, what mechanisms were used to engineer the crisis, and reminding us that the people who just like made you homeless, made you lose your job, and crashed the whole world's fucking economy actually got away with it. Like, no disrespect to Spotlight. I love a movie that takes shots at big institutions that like use their power to protect pedophiles. We're seeing a fuckload of that in 2025. But The Big Short is a better movie and should have easily won Best Picture at the 88th Academy Awards. This movie takes so many creative risks that would royally fuck up the quality of a movie that wasn't put together perfectly. The editing is like really unorthodox, taking noticeable influence from Michael Winterbottom's 24-Hour Party People. The camera work is weird as shit. It's all intimate, like handheld shots on these like voyeuristic telephoto lenses. They have these like really preachy inserts from like lowest common denominator appeal celebrities, and yet every last bit of it absolutely kicks ass. This movie takes place over like 31 years, with most of it focusing on like 2003 to 2008. And instead of showing you like little optical title cards with like September 2008 on the screen, they show you pictures and clips from shit, well, you know, during the time the movie is currently taking place. It's brilliant. Like, for people who lived through the decade, it is way better at helping people like remember where they were when that shit was happening. I love that their shorthand for 2007 is just the fucking iPhone. But possibly my favorite thing about this film, besides how effectively it explains the subprime mortgage crisis, are its like really devastating tonal shifts. When Steve Carell says that line about how his brother's face was so smashed when he killed himself, I actually cry every single time. For anybody who lived through the housing collapse, you get a horrible fucking feeling when Finn Whitrock and Monsignor Pruitt are walking through around Florida, researching the on-the-ground effects of the banks, giving loans to people that can't afford to pay them back. And as much as I shit on Brad Pitt earlier in this for using his producer leverage to like fucking insert himself as the one cool white guy in 12 Years a Slave, I gotta admit, his big PSA moment in this where he says, for every 1% unemployment increases, 40,000 people die, it's authentically a cornerstone of the fucking movie. This movie only works because the protagonists are reminded that even though they're getting rich, millions of regular people are about to lose everything. And the main appeal of the short position is fucking throwing the banks into a crater because they destroyed the world with a fraudulent system. Yeah, if it isn't obvious by now, this movie is in my top 10. Part of that may be biased because I grew up in this crisis and it affected my life and the life of my friends and family. Like, did you know a third of divorces take place because of financial issues? I know that. I found that out. And it's good to see a movie that explains why all of that happened to us. Especially a movie that's this funny and confidently made. I was gonna give this movie like a 9.5, but then I remembered that like probably sometime during my 63rd rewatch or something, a part of me clearly thinks this is a 10 out of 10 movie. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't keep going back. So, 10 out of 10 it is. Back to you, Tanner.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, I do want to just sort of touch upon this real quick. I do also distinctly remember living through the 2008 global financial crisis in the sense that my family was actually kind of one of the lucky few not that affected by it. I heard about it. I saw a lot of my friends talk about it. I saw how it affected them. My family bought a house in 2008.
Nice.
My grandfather helped with the down payment and helped secure the mortgage with his credit rating. And both my parents had pretty solid, reliable jobs. My mom was a manager at a 7-Eleven, which meant that if there were going to be any cuts at that 7-Eleven, she would be one of the last to get cut. And my dad did window washing work, and you know, people still wanted their windows washed. But I saw how it affected other families, and I do remember being taught about it in elementary school and middle school. I distinctly remember hearing, it wasn't my parents, but somebody's parents telling me this country's about to elect a black man because they fucked the economy up so badly.
That's some mystery shit right there.
Well, in the time it was seemingly incomprehensible. The person that said that wasn't racist.
Right.
They thought everyone else was, but a lot of people didn't care anymore because the global financial crisis.
Right.
I didn't understand until years later that it wasn't just the United States that was hurt, that the entire fucking Greece collapsed because a bunch of bankers in America gave a bunch of people loans that they knew they couldn't pay back.
Right.
Now, yeah, it's great stuff. All three of us lived through it in varying ways. Bennett, what do you think of The Big Short?
I mean, I think it'd be a lot better if like it was something that could actually happen in real life. I'm really happy it was like a fictional movie.
It's a fictional movie. This couldn't happen, and if it did happen, people would surely face consequences.
Yeah, like people would go to jail if this happened in real life.
There wouldn't be just one fucking Credit Suisse employee that for some reason is the one guy that gets in trouble.
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I think it's an incredible movie. I didn't see this movie until very late. I was not like one to see it when it came out in theaters, and then I didn't see it until many years later when I was learning more about the 2008 financial crisis. I do also remember, growing up in that era, so I think this movie is a good way of kind of understanding why things happened back then, because we were all very young. At least the three of us were back when this crisis happened, and only thing that I knew of it was like my parents losing jobs, even though they didn't work in the housing market. The entire economy was so intertwined with the housing market that people in other industries were affected by it, and I think this movie does a good job of explaining that, especially when he's talking to the I don't know what the guy's job is in the movie. I forgot what it is, but he's the
synthetic CDO manager.
The CDO manager, and he's like, what's the industry for insuring these? And he's like, 20 times or something like that.
It's like 20 times larger than the bond itself is insuring the bond.
Yeah, and like that explains kind of like why everything that happened in 2008 happened. But yeah, like Austin said, this movie hits really personally because of like being able to relate to like being on the other end of everything that happened and seeing like how bad it affected. But also like, when we were that age, I was too young to understand. I just remember being like, oh, we just don't have a lot of money right now. But like now thinking back and being like, oh yeah, this was caused because of rich people, and then looking back to current day and being like, oh look, all of the issues are still being caused by rich people. I think this movie is a good thing of like showing that like, oh yeah, this isn't a new issue. This has been going on for a while. I personally like the way that it's like shot. I know like you were talking about how it's kind of like
It's been pretty
jarring
divisive.
but I really like that style of Adam McKay. I think it adds to the kind of panic setting that this movie kind of has. Like even though they're shorting the market and they're gonna make a bunch of money off of it and everything, you can still see in certain scenes just the panic that comes over their like entire like vibe when they realize like, oh, we're gonna get rich, but like the world economy is going to be like fucked. And I think that the shooting style where it's very like handheld and a lot of zooms and crash zooms and stuff really helps set that like panicked vibe in the movie, in my opinion. Also agreed, 10 out of 10 movie. It's top 3 for me all time. I can watch this movie every single time, and like every single time I'm just like still blown away by it, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's just a good movie. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. Back to you, Tanner.
Great stuff. Yeah, I 100% agree. My time to shine. Hello. I remember watching The Big Short. I pirated it. Oops. I illegally downloaded it in January of 2015. January of 2016. Sorry, I misspoke. And the only reason I remember that is because this movie happened only 6-7 months after. Okay, so 18 years old. I'm a senior in high school. I'm a junior going into a senior in high school. I'm sort of starting to come into my own in terms of my belief systems as an adult and what things mean to me politically. And I'm 18 years old, and a certain senator from Vermont named Bernie Sanders announces he's running for president. He announces a bunch of policies, and I think a bunch of those policies, yeah, those more or less make sense to me. The economy should be fair. It should be more fair. And that's what sort of started pushing me in the more leftist socialist direction I am in. Watching The Big Short and understanding to an extent that what happened in 2008 wasn't necessarily an act. It's not like they intended to crash the global financial economy. They didn't mean to collapse the global financial sector, but that doesn't mean they didn't know they were doing incredibly stupid and risky things and giving loans out to people that shouldn't have had them because, I'm sorry, can't pay them. Realizing that all these rich people, the bankers, the adults in charge, as it were just totally fucking asleep at the wheel and basically let it happen and caused millions of people to lose their jobs, their homes, and who knows how many thousands of people to die just in America alone, really radicalized me. And the reason why this movie explained that so succinctly and effectively is because it's a great fucking movie. I mean, first off, the cast is stellar. It was a star-studded cast when the movie was made, but I kind of think about how many cast members in this movie I feel like have only gone on to have like more meaningful careers since this movie. Jean Magaro, one of the people in Brownfield. John Magaro was just in Past Lives a couple years ago. I feel like I'm always seeing him pop up in Oscar movies and shit now. And he played Charlie. Finn Whitrock, I feel like I see everywhere. Hamish Linklater, again, feel like I see him everywhere nowadays. Jeremy Strong. Succession happened to, 3-4 years after this movie?
Partially because of his relationship with Adam McKay.
Yeah, Karen Gillan. I forget Adam McKay was involved in Succession. And before this, Karen Gillan was mostly known for Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Who, but this is what movies like this, I think, really propelled her into being like a thing in movies. Even though she's only in one scene, she's great in that one scene. Max Grainfield and Billy Magnuson as those douchebag mortgage brokers from the beginning of the movie. I feel like I see them in shit all the time now, especially Billy Magnuson. Just a total star-studded cast anchored by, quite frankly, 4 of the best actors of this generation of actors between Bale, Carell, Pitt, and Gosling. All great in different ways. I remember for me, seeing Steve Carell in this movie was like kind of like a revelation. I don't think I was that plugged into whatever. Remind me, this has come before or after Foxcatcher?
After Foxcatcher, he got cast because of his performance in Foxcatcher. Adam McKay saw it and was like, my buddy Steve can do it!
Yeah, so I was aware of Foxcatcher, but I didn't watch it. I did watch this, and it was kind of a big like, oh, I get it now. And then, you know, you later get to play Donald Rumsfeld. That's kind of funny. What was the last time Steve Carell was in a real movie? Asteroid City. Okay. Anyway, Gosling, he's just so great in this. He plays a perfect douchebag. A line of his that really sticks out to me every time I watch this movie is when he goes, let's not talk about my margins. By the way, being nice and fat, that's a nice shirt. Do they make it for men? Just such a perfect little burn. Another great line in that scene is when I think after the cutaway gag with Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace, and all of them are yelling at Jared Bennett, and one of, I think, Hamish Linklater goes, so you're telling me you're Dora the Explorer and you just found this when nobody else will? The movie's full of great lines, both funny lines, which shows Adam McKay's comedic background, but serious lines like what Austin was telling about. Every point unemployment goes up, 40,000 people die. That fucking hurts. That hits. My brother, his face was so, hello, Turtle. His face was so mashed. That's heartbreaking. That's depressing. That hurts. But then there's also funny lines like you're telling me you're Dora the Explorer, or, you know, that's a nice shirt. Do they make it for men? Or I wasn't at these parties. I had fashion friends.
I'm jacked. I'm jacked to the tits.
Jacked to the tits!
Line.
That whole scene is funny, how he keeps kicking people out of the bathroom. What lines, Bennett?
Oh, sorry. I love Steve. You might have already mentioned it, but the Steve Carell's line where he's like, "You're telling me that these are dog shit, and the CDOs are dog shit wrapped in cat shit."
Cat shit. That's
the
crazy.
Perfect way to explain it.
It's so great. Oh, another thing about that scene I love. In these scenes I love another great Steve Carell thing, which is the whole fucking the way he says, "I love my job. I love my job." My man does not love his job. Christian Bale playing I believe, autistic person. I think Michael Burry has autism. He has Asperger's syndrome. He says that in the movie. So that basically means he's autistic.
There's a whole, if you watch the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray, it's the whole subplot about him finding out he has Asperger's as an adult. That's what most of what was cut out of the film.
Fun fact, by the way, I know in the end of this movie, he closes the hedge fund. That didn't happen in real life, only because that actually did happen in real life this year. Cyan Capital, which later became Cyan Asset Management, actually shut down this year. So, yeah. Incredibly star-studded cast. Adam McKay rightfully won a fucking Oscar for the script with his script writing partner, who was Charles Randolph. The two of them do great work. Charles Randolph co-wrote this movie. He later went on to write Bombshell, a good movie, yeah, I think.
Very good movie.
Yeah.
Pretty good movie. Brilliant performances all around. Great directing. I love movies that follow like three vaguely intersecting plot lines. Like one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when the Front Point partners almost run in to the Brownfield Fund people. How they're in like they're at the securitizations conference at the same time and they almost pass each other. I love that. I love scenes like that. God. But like it's just such a watchable movie, isn't it? It's really tightly paced and every scene is just wildly entertaining. You watch this and you just kind of completely lock in. Like I said, I love watching scenes from this movie and Margin Call, in part because I am, despite my disgust with them, I am also fascinated by the financial sector. I guess even though I hate money and I hate capitalism, I can't help but be intrigued by the people that are best at it. The same way I'm intrigued to people that are really good at playing baseball, I guess. It's kind of interesting seeing the top of their fields. And the top of the field in the financial sector, at least here in America, all work in Wall Street. So, It's a great movie, great performances. Everyone's fantastic in this. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot more to say after a brief commercial break. Welcome back from that brief commercial break for another commercial.
Here it comes.
You see this shit that I still haven't hung up in my new place? This here's a movie palette. This one's for the movie Punch Drunk Love. Basically what it does is it takes the primary color of every frame of your movie, slices it up in these little pieces, and lines it up in a little row like that. This is, like I said, for the movie Punch Drunk Love. Tim usually has one for the movie Mandy. Tim's not with us tonight because he died. Rest in peace. He didn't die. You can get one for the movie The Big Short on the website, I'm sure, or any other countless movies. And if the movie palette you want isn't on the order or isn't on the website, for a little extra money, you can get one custom made. So go ahead, add one to your cart. Before you check out, enter the code SQUAD15 to save 15% on your order. Thank you so much for listening. Now back to the show. So, interesting thing about this movie, how true to life it is. I watched a video of Steve Eisman, who is the character that Steve Carell's character is based on, the Mark Baum character. In real life, he's a man named Steve Eisman. Steve Eisman kind of sucks, but that's not the point. I watched a video of Steve Eisman today explaining The Big Short, and he said that the movie was like 93% accurate for him in the things he did. Like, for example, at the American Securitization Conference, he actually held up his hand. He actually did go to the zero thing. He actually did do all that. What he said was mostly inaccurate was it had a misunderstanding of the firm's relationship with Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley did own his hedge fund. His hedge fund existed before Morgan Stanley's money. Morgan Stanley just bought his hedge fund later. That was one. And two, he said at the end when Vinny's talking to him on the church, he said that wasn't the church in Manhattan that scene happened in. And it was also a few weeks earlier when they were all walking around outside going for a walk, and it was a gorgeous day. And he says they looked around at all of the people surrounding them, and they looked to each other and went, these people have no idea what's coming.
Damn.
Which is kind of crazy, don't you think? Oh, and the Brownfield Fund stuff is like 70% accurate. Ben Ricketts' character is kind of completely fictionalized. He's a bit of a bunker guy, but he actually to this day is still the chief risk assessment officer for the Brownfield Fund. In real life called Cornwall Capital. He is still involved in them.
Yeah, I think one of the key reasons I was about to say the reason that he got yanked away from Wall Street by Brownhole was because they like had trouble letting work remote, but then I remembered they let him work remote. I think it was just because he showed up in that area where he lived, the fucking the Brownhole guys, and that's why they kind of got hitched. Did you know? So one day, fucking Ben Rickard was on the phone, and he called them up, and he's like, I got an investment thing. We need to invest in the fucking bot, like the currency of, what is it, like Thailand or some shit? Because Ben Rickard had heard that there was going to be a coup in that country, and they're like, this is fucking nuts, are you kidding? So they invest in the bot anyway. Turns out, fucking military coup happens, and they're like, holy shit, we predicted a coup! Like, no one knew about this. The bot did not move. The currency did not, like, fluctuate even a little. They predicted a coup and made no money off of it. That was the thing from the book I thought was a little bit fucking crazy.
That's kind of hilarious.
Fucking one Steve Eisman fact that I ran away with from the book. I have, like, a Steve Eisman fact that's fun and the least fun fact I've ever shared on the show.
Is the least fun fact about some things he shared on Twitter a couple years ago?
No, mine's a sympathetic least fun fact I've ever shared on the show.
Oh, I will tell you that mine after the show, because I don't want to talk about it on recording.
Got it. So my fun Steve Eisman fact is, like, eventually he gets rich from his, like, short position, right? And he has to find a way to, like, give away some of his money to charity because he's, like, fucking crazy rich. And a charity that he chose to donate to was a charity that helps Hasidic Jews flee the community. His wife is quoted in the book as saying he can't even give his money away without starting a fight. That shit rocks. My not fun, my, like, least fun thing I've ever said on this show, Steve Eisman fact. So in this movie, Mark Baum, based on Steve Eisman, he's like pissed off and doesn't trust anybody because his brother, like recently jumped off a building and killed himself. The real life Steve Eisman, the reason he's pissed off and doesn't trust anybody is because one night he was woken up by his night nurse who said that she's actually been feeling sick and in kind of a fever, passed out, fell asleep by accident. Well, she did it on his newborn son, Max, who suffocated to death. His baby was killed because the night nurse fell asleep on top of the baby, and that's why he's like that. Oh my God, I completely
What happened to
understand
the
why they
night
changed
nurse?
that. I don't know. They don't elaborate on that, but I completely
I don't know, is that even negligence?
Right.
If you're sick?
Right. Yeah, you don't even have a bad guy there. You just have to be like, all right, my baby's gone. Jesus Christ.
I'll never work with this woman again, obviously, but fuck.
Yeah, I completely get why they changed that for the movie. Like, holy shit, they could not put that in there. It just wouldn't, it would fuck up the whole, like, tone of the movie. Even as dark as this gets. It's not like babies accidentally dying dark. Now I want to hear that Twitter thing.
I'll tell you later. It's not good. Very bad, actually. Yeah, this movie, surprisingly accurate. Do you even recently, I remember for years Steve Eisman said, I don't think I was that angry. I wasn't that angry. And then he went back and like read the transcript for when he was interviewed by the government for like, how did you see this coming, et cetera, or what was your perspective on this whole thing? He was interviewed by a commission that Barack Obama started, and that commission interviewed him, and the transcript got released, and he released the transcript, and he basically spent the whole interview calling bank CEOs idiots, morons, and fraudsters with some colorful language. And when he read that transcript, he was like, oh, I guess I was that angry.
That whips. That rocks. Right, rightfully so. One thing I didn't get to read the whole book for this, but I just got to the chapter that starts talking about, so the ratings agencies actually did have like kind of a way, like an algorithm that like rated the CDOs, right? But they were like really transparent about this with the people who put CDOs together. And one of the methods that kind of stuck out to me were, so you've got FICO scores. Think of like credit scores. I think like 800 is a great FICO score. 300, you're like the worst fucking FICO score you can
If you have a FICO score of 300, I think they're legally allowed to kill you for looking at a credit card.
The bank shoot you on sight if you have a FICO score of 300.
Like if you go into the bank with a 350, they kill you.
So they had these CDOs that were full of FICO scores that were like low enough that it's pretty obvious people with these FICO scores would default on their loans. But for before I think like mid 2006 or something, the FICO scores didn't measure whether it was like a long or short FICO credit score, because you could go and just like open up a credit card and pay one thing and boom, 800 FICO score, but it's a short 800 FICO score. So what the CDO people did was they'd make sure the banks gave out loans to immigrants, get them to open up a new line of credit, so they had these short 800 FICO credit scores to balance out the people with really low FICO scores in order to get a AA rating on the bonds. Like, this was one of many things they did to cheat. It was some people's jobs just to do predatory, freaky shit like that to make sure that the ratings came out okay. In this movie, they simplify it a little bit. It's just like Moody slaps a AAA on everything. But there was a lot more thought into making this happen in real life. And yeah, it's fucking cheeks. But that was one of the things, because he says they blame poor people and immigrants were actually targeted in this scheme, like deliberately targeted.
Yeah, they offhandedly mention it when they meet the mortgage brokers at the beginning of the movie, how one of them intentionally goes after immigrants because they can't speak English and they just want a home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just word for word, I'm taking advantage of people that want homes.
Yep.
There's another fun, this is completely changed from what you guys were just talking about, but I know what video you're talking about, Tanner, where Steve Eisman was talking about.
I literally watched it this morning.
yeah, because he has like his podcast on YouTube, and one of the things he was talking about in the movie that was changed because of him was the scene where Steve Carell's character is trying to get in a cab and he's arguing with the guy, and he calls the guy a schmuck. And apparently the original script, he was supposed to tell the guy to fuck off or something like that. at that point, and he said like, no, I wouldn't tell the guy to fuck off. I'd call him a schmuck. And so Adam McKay changed it there on the spot to that. Tiny little thing that I don't know if it drastically changes his character at all, but a cool thing that he got to change that line just because he was on set.
I think it does inform something, because being the type of guy that says schmuck says something, I think.
Chewed it up a little. Just give it a little bit of... this is kind of like a Michael Burry thing. We haven't brought up a lot about the real life Michael Burry. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but in this movie, when the higher level investment guy comes in, he says like, hey, you started up Scion with some inheritance money. Like, like one of his parents died, he got inheritance money. That's in the movie, right? That's or at least how it sounds. Okay. So in real life, Dr. Michael Burry started Scion Capital with settlement money. His father was misdiagnosed. They misdiagnosed him with something not a lot less serious than cancer, and his father then proceeded to die of cancer. And so there was this big settlement payout, and I think he put all of his settlement into starting up Scion, and his family kind of put in some of theirs. So the start of Scion Capital is a little more tragic than the movie makes it out to be. And I'm not sure why.
They cut out so much tragedy from this movie.
It's crazy to think the real life Wall Street dude or the real life traders actually had worse lives than what's depicted in the movie. They're even more oddballs IRL. Crazy.
Here's the thing with Christian Bale in this movie. Does he have a single scene outside of his office other than the one where he plays the drums in the basement of his home? I think all of his scenes are in that office, right?
No, he has the one he goes to the bank, and he's buying the...
You're right, he goes to the banks. Good call.
And he's
For the most part, though,
yeah.
everything's in the office. They could have filmed that stuff in a couple of days.
Yeah, no, they the scenes where he goes to the banks, that's also one of my favorite parts, where you just see how cocky the banks are when he's like I want to buy whatever it was, 30 million or 50 million shares, and they're like, oh well, we'll sell you all of that, no problem. And they're whispering to each other, and you can tell they're like, oh, we're making so much money on this guy.
Yep.
And I love that, using that as foreshadowing, just showing how cocky they were, and then knowing that he's the one that's gonna end up on top.
Good God.
Good.
I kind of want to pivot to talking about Adam McKay for a second. So I was looking some shit up. It looks like the next Adam McKay joint that might happen if they don't cancel it is this adaptation of David Wallace Wells' book, The Uninhabitable Earth, Life After Warming. It's this intentionally alarmist book about how we won't be able to survive outside for more than a few hours, and our crops are going to be fucked, and we're going to run out of water, and the weather will start picking us off like a slasher movie villain if global warming keeps up. It's tentatively titled Greenhouse, and it's going to star Amy Adams and Sam Rockwell. But it's worth saying that Adam McKay has made 3 overtly political kind of dramas, and the only universally acclaimed one is this. It does seem a bit crazy to me to do a movie that's literally about climate change directly after doing a movie that's an allegory for climate change. Let's talk about how he's been trying to repeat this and not quite been succeeding at it.
I think the most interesting one he had lined up was, I don't remember who was supposed to star in it, but the one where he was going to direct a movie about a guy who's a serial killer that becomes a politician.
Is that average height, average build? I saw that.
Yeah, but it got canceled.
What do you guys think of fucking Vice and Don't Look Up? Because I like Vice, it's an accurate depiction of the bullshit that happened in the Bush administration. I rewatched it and I was like, this is really informative as someone who grew up hating the Bush administration. I did not like Don't Look Up. It was abrasive in a weird way I couldn't put my finger on, even though the ending was very powerful.
I did not care much for Vice. I fucking adore Don't Look Up.
I love Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up really worked for me. Mostly because I found it to be the most emotional and poignant of all of Adam McKay's movies. Maybe not necessarily in the middle, but that final scene where Leonardo DiCaprio just says, we really did have it all. I find it really moving and poignant.
I don't know if Leo's character worked for me. It felt more like a David O. Russell movie than an Adam McKay movie for me at times.
I also like that Mark Rylance plays a tech billionaire. It's a really funny performance.
The funniest joke in the movie is when the AI predicts that one like politician lady will die to some like creature with a very strange name, and at the point in the movie when that is predicted, you're like, well, this is fucking nonsense. It's hallucinating. And then like the post-credits stinger is her on a different planet getting killed by this thing. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's the mid-credits singer, and I got to see Don't Look Up at a theater, which maybe helped. But the post-credit scene of that movie is Jonah Hill emerging from the rubble like, hey guys, where'd you go?
Yeah.
And he starts live streaming.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good bit.
Dude, I fucked up heavily. Speaking of Adam McKay, like, the one political movie of his that I saw in theaters was Vice. I fucked up so hard. Sid and I, we were, like, celebrating New Year's, and I booked us to see Vice when the clock, passed over into the new year. So we're, like, watching our phones, and we're like, okay, we gotta kiss at New Year's. And then it's the torture scene was on, right when the fucking clock hit midnight. And we're just like, Happy New Year! I've never fucked up. I haven't fucked up so that bad since I was like a 13-year-old and brought my first girlfriend to see Juno. It was up there on the fucking board.
As a teenager, you brought your girlfriend to see Juno?
It got good reviews.
You broke up afterwards, right?
Yeah, she cheated on me with a soccer guy. It was fun.
My man!
And then I dated her best friend. Boom. For
years. My man!
Several years. Oh, no. Yeah. Didn't you used to have the opinion that Vice went a little too overboard on the treats the audience like idiots, right?
Mostly in that credit scene where they do the fucking like the fucking board, like the fucking, what do they call it? The focus group scene?
Yeah.
Where they're like, I don't care about this. When's the next Fast and Furious movie? Fuck off. I actually do think the average person is more intelligent than Adam McKay gives them credit for. Mm-hmm. I think it's a lot of systemic problems going on.
The celebrity cameos in this? Tanner, have you read about this? It wasn't
all the original ones?
Yeah. You want to let him have it, or should I?
There were two specific. I think the Anthony Bourdain one was in the original script. Mm-hmm. The other two celebrity cameo scenes with Selena Gomez and Margot Robbie. The Selena Gomez one was originally supposed to be Beyonce, and Jay-Z. And Jay-Z. Jay-Z was going to be scripted as saying losing the bet he made was a Hard Knock Life, which would have been so abhorrent it would have ruined the movie.
And then
the other one, the Margot Robbie in a bubble bath scene, was originally supposed to be Scarlett Johansson standing under a waterfall. And if it was that scene,
please God,
I can't say.
Please take.
I think it would have been a great scene. Everything else is the same. Everything else in the movie is the same. It's just ScarJo instead of Margot Robbie. Somehow in that universe, COVID also doesn't happen.
I need somebody to film that now. I need to know what that image looks like. That was fucking genius on the page. You also, this is another kind of trivia fact. This movie is like inextricably tied to the Anchorman movies in two very important ways.
One was the sequel. The studio wouldn't fund The Big Short unless he agreed to make Anchorman 2.
Yep. They gave him an ultimatum. We'll only give you your housing crash movie if you make fucking Kanye West pop up at the end of a Ron Burgundy movie.
Hold on. That is also the only good scene in Anchorman 2, the one you're talking about.
Fuck yeah, it is. Another way that this movie is tied to Anchorman 2. So they started, production didn't start on this until after Anchorman 2 was edited. And Adam McKay, that was the first movie he shot on digital, was Anchorman 2. And he is on the record saying that he thought it looked like shit. Like, he did not like the way digital looked. And so that's why this movie is shot on film. He had to push for it. Because he was looking at the dailies of Anchorman 2 and was just like, oh, Jesus.
What am I doing? This movie does look great. The film looks amazing. So there are two scenes in this movie where a quotation appears on screen. At the beginning of the movie with Mark Twain. And the second one is this random quote that says, "Truth is like poetry, and most people fucking hate poetry." I have two thoughts of mine about this. One, I think that quotation is the worst part of the movie. I think that's a really stupid, cheesy quote, especially the fucking overheard at a Washington, D.C. bar part. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what the fuck that means, because the other thing about it that I don't really like is two. That's just something Adam McKay wrote because he couldn't find a quote that fit.
Should've looked
harder. Nut up, coward. It should have said Adam McKay, creator of Succession on HBO, which would have really confused the audience because Succession didn't exist yet.
really playing head games with him. Jesus.
Bennett, I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah.
You got anything to say about anything?
Yeah, mortgages are a scam.
What's your mortgage? What's your mortgage rate? What's your interest rate on that?
Like 400% or something like that.
That's not true.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Classic
on this
modern
podcast.
mortgage.
It's 3%.
I'll tell you
guaranteed. Can we talk about the stripper that owns 5 houses and a condo? What's she doing with that, man?
Talk about me.
You're not a stripper. What is she doing? Is she like renting
She
them?
was trying to be a slumlord, yeah.
Okay.
I love that this whole scam was predicated on housing prices never not going up. Like, the whole scam stopped working because housing prices stopped doing this for even a little bit of time. Like,
they leveled off for like 5 minutes and they went, fuck.
I mean, it's just so crazy. I think I heard a quote from one of the people involved with this movie, and it was that the Wall Street people involved, the common perception of them is that they're fraudulent, but in reality, they're stupid, which is worse. And I thought about that for a second, because I was like, no, they are frauds. But then I was like, oh, okay. Because it is insane to, like, bolster this entire system. There were entire fucking pension funds built on, like, CDO speculation. It was like the cornerstone of the American economy, was all
To
this
be
fucking
fair,
betting.
To be fair to a lot of the people outside of the banking industry, because here's the thing, if you're a banker, you should have known better. If you're not a banker, why would you think people are being given loans that shouldn't be given them? You know?
Right.
Especially if you've already had your mortgage for maybe 10 years and they haven't, because it really wasn't until the start of the 2000s that they started going fucking nuts giving anybody a mortgage.
Yeah.
So if you get your mortgage in the 90s, which was probably a somewhat difficult process, why would you think it was all of a sudden super easy to get a loan? You know, number one. And number two, it's what Louis Laneri says at the beginning of the movie. Who the hell doesn't pay their mortgage?
Right. It's your house. It's the most important thing. It's your shelter. Everyone pays.
That's
their
why
mortgage.
it's supposed to be the most secure loan possible, that people will move heaven and earth to pay their mortgage
But another thing that kind
because they don't want to lose their home.
Another thing that kind of fucked this was securitization. Like, that was a fairly recent invention. I think that was from the 90s, where banks could take these loans that were normally on their books, and like if the loan went tits up, it was like they had to eat it. But with securitization, they could package it as a different thing and sell it to somebody else and make money off of it. So there was this displacement of like kind of responsibility and risk. The displacement of risk, the ability to do that in the financial sector led to a whole bunch of bullshit going wrong. I mean,
Yeah, the big one is like the ratings agency. It feels like such a conflict of interest that you have to pay them.
oh my God.
You know, like the rating thing, like the rating isn't delivered until the payment isn't delivered until after rating, I guess.
Whew.
Which is fucking insane. How is that possible?
They're like supposed to act as like a checks and balances kind of thing, but they're all in bed together. Same with like the SEC. You know, SEC is like fucking working at a community college and eyeing a job at like some big fucking tech firm, you know? Like they're all just like sitting there pretending to regulate, but they gotta maintain their good relationship with the fucking banks because they want to go and make a lot more money than they do with the SEC.
Because simply put, if you don't go here, we'll go down the street.
That too.
Yeah.
They're supposed to act as like kind of like a governing body of standards, and instead it was a for-profit operation. Who could have seen that coming? Jesus.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Literally everyone was asleep at the wheel, and only some 20-odd investors went, hey, I love it. Ryan Gosling puts it so simply at the beginning of the movie. They made a bunch of money because they did what nobody else thought to do. They looked.
Bam.
It was literally obvious to anyone that looked at the bonds that the mortgages were bad.
It's crazy to see the things that all the people who this movie's based off of are investing in currently.
Oh God.
Like Michael Burry is investing in like water was like his recent thing.
I also heard one
Well,
of
when
these
this
guys,
movie came out, that was a thing. I think he moved away from water a few years ago.
One
Oh,
of
okay.
these guys, I think it's Michael Burry. I could be misremembering that, but he's trying to short the like AI companies, like companies
Yes.
that made a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
off
his big
AI.
thing right now. He sees there's an AI bubble. Matter of fact, that's part of his He closed the fund earlier this year and started a 300. When I say earlier this year, I mean the fund closed November 24th. I'm talking this happened 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
He started a annual newsletter with a $379 fee. Fuck off, Michael Burry. Start a Substack with a $10 a month fee like the fucking rest of us. That'll lay out his fears and his short positions in NVIDIA and Palantir. And let the record show that the official stance of Bomb Squad Productions is that regardless of our opinion on the ethics of AI, there is absolutely a bubble in regards to the AI economy. And it is a only thing propping up the economy and the stock market right now.
100%. It's not a question of whether it will, it's just a question of when at this point.
Exactly. It's not if, it's when.
It's also crazy because like Steve Eisman, his most recent video at the time of this recording on his YouTube podcast is talking about how the current housing market is broken. And it's a scary thing to see from a guy who's famous for making money off of the biggest housing crash being like, oh yeah, the housing market's broken again. It's like,
yeah, it's broken in different ways. A big one right now, and then we're heading toward a scary thing where private investment companies are buying. It's not exactly the majority of homes right now. It's actually less than 1% of homes in America are in this state right now, but it could escalate very fast. Single family homes are being purchased by like BlackRock or whatever, these private equity firms, which will obviously have no intention to sell them to people, to only rent them out.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I get like calls and like emails and like letters from like those kind of companies daily trying to buy my house, and it's the downside of owning a house where you get more offers because you own real estate.
Man. God.
It's not great. It's not great. Yeah, Michael Burry to me is the one, because as kind of somewhat accurately shown in this thing, in real life, the Front Point managers were independently looking into the idea of the housing market being fraudulent before Greg Lippman, who is the character Jared Vanette is based off of it in real life. That the wrong number thing was a true story, by the way. That is 100% what happened. They already knew about the housing market looking weird, but yeah. Eisman hasn't done anything super huge since he shorted the thing. Lippman hasn't done anything super huge since this. Burry has pretty consistently been kept in the news, again, in part because of the AI bubble thing. Fun fact, Greg Lippman most recently created a company that, or at least started working with Promise Financial on a wedding loan business.
Wedding loans? Oh.
You want to talk about an industry that's broken? Weddings. Sorry, Bennett.
Oh.
No, I agree.
Dude, I meant to work this into like my notes. It was like the first note I wanted to write down for my general thoughts on the movie, but this is the one time boomers ever gave a fuck about predatory loans because it happened to them. It's so fucking... We could shout to the heavens that none of us can afford shit right now because of fucking student loans, which are structured exactly the same, fucking giving loans to people who can't pay them back. The fucking predatory way. Can't even declare bankruptcy on these fucking things.
At least I can get rid of a mortgage by declaring bankruptcy.
Yeah, how the fuck?
The student loans don't discharge.
How the fuck did these people live through 2008, but every time student loans get brought up, like the smallest piece of Fox News propaganda, they're just like, oh, well, don't take out loans you can't repay. Like
I understand the argument is that what'll happen is that a bunch of people, here's what the boomers will argue. If you allow yourself to discharge your student loans in bankruptcy, what'll happen is that every student will go through 4 years of college, get their degree, and immediately declare bankruptcy. And to that, I say, I don't think the average student wants to ruin their credit score as soon as they enter the job force.
Yep.
I think declaring bankruptcy is probably something that people would consider as a last resort if they really can't pay them off.
Right. It reminds me of the whole like pro-life argument. They think people are like celebrating these things that people absolutely only do as a last resort kind of shit.
Bankruptcy takes, I know someone who declared bankruptcy, I want to say in 2018, 2019, and they're only just now kind of, I mean, it wasn't like it was a planned bankruptcy. They didn't lose things. It was a chapter. It wasn't chapter 11. I don't know what chapter it was, but it was basically just hey, I need to restructure my finances. I'll pay back some of this shit, but we cannot afford to continue doing what we're doing. They still have their house. They still have their car. Matter of fact, they have pretty good credit scores now. But it took years to kind of get back to normal. And that was with not chapter 11. Chapter 11, which is the flat out, I can't do anything. Money doesn't exist for me anymore. That's when they kind of take things away. Because again, declaring bankruptcy, you could have an apartment that could theoretically fuck with your rent. Or not really rent, but your ability to hold an apartment. If you are lucky enough to own a home, if you declare bankruptcy, you don't just get to choose to discharge your student loans. If you say, I can't pay back my debt, that's all your debt. Bankruptcy is a last resort.
Companies owned by Donald Trump, primarily his hotel and casino businesses in Atlantic City and New York, have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection 6 times.
Yeah, that's the we're broke bankruptcy. Bennett, you should file for bankruptcy right now.
Not trust
I
the
think
spam.
I think I'm gonna pass on that one.
You should give me your house.
Deal.
All right.
I'll sell
What's-
it to you. How about that?
You got a teaser rate?
I get a house.
$100 million.
Deal. I'll take out a mortgage for this that I will not be
declare
paying off.
bankruptcy.
Yeah, and then immediately declare bankruptcy. I get to keep the house though, right? No. That's not how this works. Yeah, I guess the argument is that if you declare bankruptcy and you still own a house, you lose the house. They
Did we
can't
find,
take
like,
your degree away.
Did we figure out like a scheme to get all the homies rich? Like buy a house, sell your friend for like millions of dollars. Friend declares bankruptcy, you're both still rich.
Bennett, I believe you're describing financial fraud.
Not if
I
you-
gotta go. I gotta leave.
Bennett, I think you just discovered fraud. What you're describing is a crime.
Hell yeah.
Only if they catch
We should
me.
do it anyway. Only if they catch you. They will catch you. There are millions of dollars in play. They will catch you.
I know a bunch of people who are like waiting for the housing market to crash again so they can buy a house. That was when I was trying to buy a house back in like 2020. A lot of the times people were like, "Oh, you're trying to buy a house? Really hoping the market crashes so it'll be affordable again." I don't know if like that would be a net good or bad thing for our generation, but I know BlackRock's waiting in the wings to go and like fucking buy all those. So
Yeah, the thing is that would probably happen if the housing market crashed. And two, the problem is that our economy is still somewhat levered up on mortgages. So while it would not be as bad as last time, if the housing market were to collapse, there would be ramifications on the economy at large. There would be problems and people would lose jobs.
plus,
It would not be nearly as bad as '08. There were, in fact, some minor guardrails put in place to ensure it will never be as bad as '08 again. Not enough guardrails, but some.
when I went to Iceland, we were on a bus tour, and
You went to Iceland?
yeah, for my honeymoon. It was cool.
What?
Yeah. So when we were on a bus
Why
tour.
didn't you invite us?
Yo, what the fuck, man?
I fucked that up. I'll admit it. I'm sorry. So people all over the place were clocking that we were Americans, and our tour guide on the bus, we were gonna go see a volcano, and she clocked we were Americans, and she's like, "All right, because we have Americans present, I want to tell you, Iceland was one of the only countries that sent our bankers to jail for the 2008 crisis." And everyone
Did you
just
cheer?
turned
Please
it
tell me
up.
you cheered.
I was so happy. I had no idea. But yeah, everyone was turning at us just like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, we did the right thing. Yeah, you know what the funny thing is about all your friends being like, I hope the housing market collapses so it's affordable again? Us three, we live in the St. Louis area. We actually live in one of the most affordable markets in the country in terms of home prices.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, but
fun
it is
here.
St. Louis.
The murder
I like
capital,
St. Louis.
baby.
I like St. Louis though. Point being though is that we're one of the few big cities that have like actual meaningful culture, that have home prices, median home prices under 300K. We have 2 big 4 sports teams. That's not nothing.
Dude, I was
A lot of these
really
places,
hoping.
people are like, move to bumfuck Indiana. I don't want to live in bumfuck Indiana. I want to live in St. Louis. Homes are still somewhat affordable here.
The
At least
craziest.
they have an NFL team.
I
And
used,
bumfuck?
And yeah.
I used to get these crazy TikTok videos where it would show borderline like a castle, but built like a McMansion. You know, just like fucking 6,000 square feet, all that McMansion kind of shit that we got used to growing up. If you ever visited a friend's house who was like upper middle class, and they're like, yeah, and this house is like 250 grand. Location, Texas. And you go look on the map, you like zoom in on Google Earth, and it's just desert, 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 and then you get to a small
Yeah, the
suburb.
problem is you say Texas and you get your hopes up thinking that means like Houston, San Antonio, Austin.
Yep.
I don't want to say Dallas. I love Dallas. I have family that lives there. Dallas kind of is a boring city, but Austin and Houston have way more character. But no, the homes in Austin, Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio, well, maybe San Antonio, aren't
Austin
exactly
doesn't have a lot of
affordable.
character, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But all the most affordable homes in Texas are probably all in West Texas. The biggest city in West Texas, I think, is El Paso, which is not that big a city.
Down of El Paso. Jesus.
West Texas is where Hell or High Water takes place.
That was almost my
So-
pick for the Money movie.
Yeah. Great movie. Fucking love Hell or High Water.
Oh my god, that headshot near the end is one of the craziest headshots in all of cinema. They made that
Character
so
named Tanner.
Disgusting.
Character named Tanner. Let's go.
All right.
Spoilers, dang.
All right.
All right. Do we have anything more to say about The Big Short or the economy?
Yeah, I think the world economy should bet on mortgages again. Like, what could go wrong?
I've heard some rumblings that there is something similar happening in the auto loan industry.
Please, God, please. Why
Yes.
is he
Basically,
car
what's
purchasing
going
a
on
new
is
car?
that they are giving car loans to people that they know that cannot afford to pay them.
Yes. Can I explain my theory on this? 'Cause
Please,
I
go
have
ahead.
Also heard this, and I should add a disclaimer that I am not a financial expert.
None of us are. These are just things we've heard through
I went
the
to film
grapevine.
school, so I am not the person to listen to on financial advice. But my theory for why the car loan or the car industry is the way it is right now. In end of 2021 to like late 2023, there was a massive shortage on used cars because there was a delay in microchips, and most new cars use microchips, and the car dealerships could not get new cars in, so all the used cars were getting bought up, and that created this like desert of used cars.
Yeah,
Like, you
used
could
cars are
not-
being bought up, and people that would typically trade their cars in for new cars weren't, because there weren't new cars to be bought. That also restricts
Yes.
the used car supply.
And so people who were desperate for cars, like, because there was no used cars to buy anywhere, or if I'm talking dealerships, there weren't any used cars to buy anywhere. You could buy used cars still like off like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, but you were paying like absurd amounts of money for these used cars. So what people were doing was they had to take out loans because the car industry was so falsely inflated because of this shortage, that they had to take out loans to get cars. And now the car market has bottomed back out to where, well, not bottomed out, but leveled back out to
Rebounded. It's
normal
rebounded.
pricings. And all these loans people took out are now upside down or underwater because they bought a car for way more than it's worth. So now it's back to normal pricing, which is less than what they owe on it. So we're seeing, like you said, we're seeing the exact same thing that will happen in the housing market in 2008.
The ramifications will not be nearly as severe. They're not bundling auto loans together in securities, but it will probably have some ramifications that are not great. Yeah, car prices were insane, Bennett. I remember you telling me that the dealership that you bought your car from called you multiple times to offer you more than you paid for it. Isn't that right?
Yes. So I bought my car in January 2023, and by March, they were trying to buy it back from me for like thousands more than I paid for it because they were like, we don't have any used cars and we need their car back.
Whoa.
Like they were like I could have made a profit for owning my car for 2 months.
But then the problem with that would be is that if you do that, then you don't have a car because they cost more now.
Yep.
Yeah. It was crazy. It's like,
it was a very weird time for the auto industry.
Yeah, I remember going into the dealership and like normally when you go buy a car, you know, you'll haggle the salesman, try and get the best price. I remember going, this was like a surreal moment, going in there to buy my car, and put my down payment on it, and the salesman goes, "Yeah, listen, like we're not going to negotiate the price. This is what the price is," and he says, "You see those 3 guys sitting at that table over there?" And I turn around and sure enough, there's like these 3 guys like basically like waiting in line. He goes, "If you don't buy this right now, they're going to come over and buy it." And I was like, this is insane. Like that's like, this was a car that didn't even exist yet because there was no cars on the lot. Yeah. And there was a line of people waiting to buy it because there was such a shortage.
People need cars because we have a car-centric infrastructure in America that in most cities, unless you're lucky enough to live in New York, Boston, Chicago, or DC, you need a car to get anywhere. Yeah.
Or Arkansas.
I forgot Arkansas, the train capital of America.
No, horse and buggy.
It's good. Yeah, great stuff. Economy sucks. Final thoughts on The Big Short? Austin,
it
go.
Was big good.
That's true.
How could I possibly say that better? So there may be like better articles and books and like documentaries about the 2008 housing crash, but the fact that like Adam McKay made this mass appeal movie with these like A-list actors that does such a good job of explaining what happened, probably spread the word about these like evil finance shitheads more than all those other things combined. This is like one of the best pieces of anti-capitalist propaganda I've seen in my life. And it's a real fucking movie, like with heart and soul and humor and shit. One of my favorites, if you have Netflix, go check it out. The book is also up for free on YouTube if you want to experience another 11 hours of content about this story. And, you know, you want to find out specifically how the CDO brokers rigged the models from the rating agencies. This movie fucking rocks. Back to you, Tanner.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Bennett, let her rip.
Good movie. I gotta fill in for Tim since he's not here. Movie good.
Love movie good.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Here's what I'll say. This movie is amazing. It is one of my all-time favorite movies, probably top 20 all time. The script is perfect. The direction is perfect. It's very unique. I think it's interesting that Adam McKay has yet to make a movie nearly half as good as this one. And I say as someone who loves Don't Look Up. I love Don't Look Up. Does not hold a candle to this movie. Cast perfect. What it taught me was amazing. Everything about it is perfect. And what I will say is a sentiment I have been saying for 10 years now because of a certain politician in this movie. If something is too big to fail, it is too big to exist.
You love Bernie.
You know what else is too big to exist?
Who?
Your mother. And also you, the person watching / listening to this episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. Oh, that was so mean. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you are listening on any of the audio platforms we're on, how about you go ahead and leave us a review? It helps boost us in the algorithm or something. I don't know. I just work here. If you are listening, how about you mosey on down over to our Patreon? $5 tier gets you access to commentary tracks. $10 tier get you access to a special shout out at the end of the episode. So my mom, Tanya Crafts, thank you so much for contributing to the channel. If you are not done giving us money, who can blame you? How about you mosey on down over to our merch store? That's right. They got merch now. BombSquadProductions.shop. We got shirts, we got hoodies, we got posters, we got magnets, we got stickers, we got some great stuff on there. Buy some stuff, add it to your cart. You won't regret it. It'll be cool.
We got
do that.
Socks.
That's true. Used. Wink, wink. And if you're done giving some money and you're watching this on YouTube, thank you oh so very much for watching. We really appreciate it. How about you moseying on down over the comment section below and let us know, what do you think of The Big Short? Do you think it's Adam McKay's best movie? What is your favorite Adam McKay movie? What's your favorite performance in the movie? Do you own a home? Do you have a mortgage? And if so, what's the interest rate on that mortgage? And finally, what's your social security number? Comment below and let me know. And while you're down there, hit the like button so you know how much you like us. Hit the subscribe button so you know how much you love us. Hit the bell icon to know exactly when we upload new videos. Thank you again oh so very much for watching. We've had a blast. Tune in next week when we talk about a movie on a Tim hosted episode when we discussed Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. We're going back down the animated Batman movie well since Phantasm. Should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you there. We'll see you then. Bye.
You can't tell, but I was waving in there.
They slid my ticket across the table and I said, sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl.